I think we're live streaming. So I'd like to call the Town of Rochester Town Board November 19th special meeting to order. We're a little late getting started at 6:10 p.m. If we could all stand for the pledge of the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Councilman Ciardi is absent. Councilman Coleman.
Here.
Councilman Dindal.
Here.
Councilman Sneeseth.
Here.
Supervisor Nellen.
Here. Okay, so we basically have a special meeting tonight to adopt our budget. So we will be reviewing all the amendments to the preliminary budget and then doing a final adoption. We will have to go through those for the board one by one because I did make some changes to the preliminary budget as presented. But first we wanted to make the planning board appointments. Do you guys want to make those now? Do you want to do the budget, have an executive session and then make them? We haven't.
Let's go now.
I think we can do that.
Okay. I'll make the first motion and then I'll let you guys make the next ones. I'd like to make a motion that the Town of Rochester Town Board appoints Hans Veteran to serve as planning board member in a term to expire December 31, 2029.
Question?
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? Abstain? Motion carries.
I motion, that the Town of Rochester Town Board appoints Robin Quick to serve as planning board member alternate in a term to expire December 31st, 2024.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Abstain? Motion carries. Okay. The last one is for the zoning board of appeals. Alternate. So I can, or I'd like to make a motion that the Town of Rochester Town Board appoints Lenny Fernino to serve as zoning board of appeals member alternate in a term to expire December 31, 2024.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstain, motion carries. Okay, so those alternate terms, they both expire at the end of the year, but I'm fully I'm sure we intend to reappoint those people. Okay, so preliminary budget review and adjustments. So I can present to you all the changes that I made to get the numbers that I have with me here. So this is basically the cover sheet. This is what we'll be using to fill in for our final resolution. So this has all the appropriations and estimated taxes. So if we make changes in addition to what I've made, or if you guys want to reverse anything that I've done in the final version, we have to edit these numbers. So this, I did this too fast and these are just. Okay, so basically, I can give you an overview. The bad news is our health insurance costs were way, way, way more than what I'd estimated. So that added like $75,000 to the budget, and I didn't feel like we could do that, so I made some edits. And basically, it's just the number of staff that are now covered in our plan and like the breakdown of it being family, it's like. None of it, nothing's like unreasonable, it wasn't like health insurance went up that much, it's just that the way that people are doing their benefits is just, that's how the math works out. Um. So. Let's see. I'm sorry, I'm not like completely prepared. So what I can do is just start with the changes that I made in order to get to the numbers we have here, which are pretty similar to what was in the preliminary budget as presented. So, in the biggest, I guess I'm just gonna write these down. The biggest changes are the employee health contributions are exactly now what they were, so, or what they will be. So I can, what we had in the preliminary budget was $35,268. They're actually gonna be $59,000 in general fund.
Where is that, which section is that in?
It's revenue. So,
Which number?
it's 2709.
That's medical.
Yeah, so the way, are you in the PDF or the spreadsheet? Okay, so for people, if you're looking, the employee health contributions total is going to change from $42,845 to $66,010. That, in that spreadsheet though, it's summing the 4 lines below it, so the biggest change is the medical insurance contributions are gonna be 59,000. So when I make, when I list off the changes from the. Do you guys want me to list them off specifically or just say the total?
Total's fine.
Okay. So, that is the main revenue change. And then in just general government support, the main things, I did like a couple of small things, but the biggest thing is I took out the buildings manager position. Cause I really needed to take something out, like a chunk, and that was what I could think of. Is everybody okay with that? I mean, it sucks. But
How many did we have that? How many hours was that part?
Yeah.
20? It was 20 hours, right?
yeah. I would love to keep that position, but I feel like I can, if I have another person in my office, I could. I could devote more time to making sure that things are getting taken care of. And we can just fund that next year for 2026. So that changed, so that line went from,
29.
yeah. That was the line,
1620, that 115.
okay, Backing up, I didn't mention this because we discussed it, but, back in oh, sorry, I skipped ahead. I'm just gonna go in order. I'm sorry, you guys, I'm a little flustered. Okay. We had in the court, so, budget line A1110.447 is going from 8,000 to 6,000.
What was it for, what?
447.
And 8 to 6?
Yeah.
Yeah, we already talked about that, right?
We did, but it wasn't in the posted. The next one, you guys might, this might be a discussion. Remember when we were talking about assessor salary? And I brought up that our assessor is probably making more currently than what we put in the budget, and that is the case. So we had it originally at 89,000. In our preliminary budget, we put that salary at 84,240. I wanted to suggest that we put in 88,000 in the final, which would be a 3% pay increase from what they're making now in their total, in their current role. Yeah, you guys can think about it, and
It's a 3% increase on what the current pay is for across all the towns.
I'm fine.
So is what we have in the budget matching what the current salary is across all 3 towns?
no, it's less.
So it is less. So if we raise it 3%, it's
3%.
Currently. I have it written down do you want to discuss it now, or do you want to review everything?
I mean, let's review everything, right? It's the
Can
highest.
you give us what the total was before the change? Aaron,
84,240.
thank you. You can continue.
Okay.
I just wanted you to say that.
We had looked at it from our pay scale, like in that position, if we were to like double it. And then work it in with the pay increases that we were doing. That's where we got the 84,240. Without going into, I think it's all public records, but it was sort of what I had anticipated, which was that we are doing it based on what we're paying, not the overall salary of.
We're doing, so what, I'm sorry, I didn't.
We're doing it based on our pay for a part-time position is how we were doing that pay scale. Not based on like,
Yes, I will say though, with an employee. That's kind of freelancing and working for 3 different corporations, it's easier to make more in a salary than at one full-time. Just based off the different positions, different towns and pay scales. So I'm wondering if we should maybe just give a 3% raise to what is there.
what would that be?
That would be, for the year, 86,767.02. Or in 20 cents.
Can we call it 87,000?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking, so then it's 3% above what our pay scale is of a raise to get them almost matching to what it is, but I think that giving them 3% to what they're making collectively. isn't a fair way of measure. If that makes sense.
So we'll put it at 87. Okay,
I mean, there are advantages to being under a single employer, not having to commute to different locations.
yes,
Like those other employers could pay them a higher hourly rate because they weren't paying. Of, like, we were paying 50%, they were splitting the other half of the benefits, so. They were only paying a quarter, so they could afford to pay their assessor at a way higher hourly rate, because their benefits they were paying out were less, so that's why I think if we do it based off our pay scale with the raise, it's a much fairer.
okay.
If that's okay.
I
agree.
let's see. That was it for, okay, and so then I already said that we zeroed out the buildings manager. I also reduced budget code 1620.20 from, it was 10,000 to 5,000. That was our,
What's it in?
it's in the general government support 1620, so it's right below the buildings. That was our, like, furniture. So I think we can do some of the things that we talked about, but just not all of them.
What was it, 1621?
1620.20. You see it? Equipment?
Yep.
Tables and chairs and carts. Like one of my favorite songs.
You moved to 5.
Yeah, from 10 to 5. Okay. And so that was there. I'm gonna just be nice and slow and careful, so I apologize for taking pauses, but. This is my first, sorry, I said under my breath, but this is my first budget, so I'm trying to be careful. Okay, so. Didn't make a ton of changes, so I don't think I have other, okay. There's a change here. Right, two numbers aren't matching. Oh, yes. I just did this on a whim. We like kind of seemingly, I can't find any backup for it, but last year we paid the Carlson Pool $30,000. But we've always done 20.
They asked us to move it up last year.
Yeah.
Okay, so I had moved it back down, but I can put it back up if you guys want. I just have to add $10,000 back.
I think if they asked for it to be up last year.
Yeah,
can't
I just
imagine
couldn't
it's gonna
find-
Go down.
I couldn't find it. It kind of, it didn't, the budget never got amended or anything like that, so I thought maybe it was, I was hoping it was a mistake.
So we never moved it, we didn't move it up last year?
we paid them $30,000, but the
Oh, they
budget,
never amended it.
the budget didn't get amended and I didn't find any record of a request.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I definitely remember.
remember them making a request.
I remember being told that they made a request. I don't remember seeing documentation. That they made a request.
Okay.
So it's possible it was a phone call and there's.
So,
I remember hearing it, but I will blindly support the Barracuda.
well, that's
I
this,
paid
yeah,
them,
the
but-
Barracuda swim team is a separate line item, but so, so you want me to put it back to 30?
Oh, that's right.
I think so, unless we've talked to them and told them. We can't contribute 30.
No, they didn't. It's this section. There's no change.
So you move that down.
They needed sheds.
Sheds?
I still follow them on Facebook.
Oh, I don't, yeah, I don't.
They replaced sheds and I think that that's what, like, they had to do a lot of. Like, I'm trying to trace back and that's what it was. They had a bunch of.
The pool.
The pool, like the facility itself, we did.
Well, that's what I was like, is it a,
Sheds and stuff
was
like
it a
that.
one-off improvement or was it a permanent request?
I thought, what I remember is them asking us to up our contribution.
Okay.
20 to 30.
Well, so I'll leave it, but then I need to remember to add $10,000 to my numbers when we adopt the budget. Is that, we're good?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So that means no changes. Yeah, no changes on that page. No changes on that page, okay, the big one, employee benefits. So this is the revenue for, or I'm sorry, the expenditures for employee benefits. Went from, so A 9060.8, it went from 270,309 to 355,640.
There you go, 300.
$355,640. I can give you the breakdown if you want. So medical is 262,000. Dental is 5,500. Vision is $890. Retiree insurance is 22,250. And insurance buyouts are $65,000.
Bang up to 355.
It certainly
640.
does. That's the beauty of an Excel spreadsheet. Okay. So that brings us to, okay. General fund expenditure total. $3,336,741. And a revenue total of $2,216,862.
The expense was 3,376,741.
$3,336,741. 3,336,741. Oh, wait, we've made two changes. We made $11,000 in changes. Okay, that makes sense. I was like, oh my gosh. It is not off by $10,000. Okay. So. Should I can make a motion to amend the preliminary budget. And we can just vote on it in a block and then we can move on to highway. All right, so I'd like to make a motion to amend the 2024 preliminary budget as presented as follows, change revenue line. Oh, 2025. Oh. Preliminary budget. As follows, revenue line 2709. To. Increase to $66,010. Expenditure line. A 1620.115. To change from $29,640 to 0. A 1110.447. To change from $8,000 to $6,000. A 1355.111. To change from $84,240 to $87,000. A 1620.20. To change from $10,000 to $5,000. And a 9060.8. To change from $270,309 to $355,640. Do I have a second? A second. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed, abstained, motion carries. Highway fund. Similar story, except not as drastic. Okay. So in highway fund, the employee health contributions are gonna change from 29,000 that's in the preliminary to 32,450. So revenue,
32,000, how much?
450. So that's revenue DA 2709. And then I did some changes in here. It was pointed out that there's a service that we have on a piece of equipment that hadn't been budgeted for, so we're gonna budget for it. So expenditure line DA 5010.440 professional services is going from $2,000 to $8,000.
What's it for?
It's for the servicing of our fuel system. I'm adding $10,000 to the professional service engineering. That's DA 5020.440. That's going from $5,000 to $15,000.
Or
For the bridges.
HVA or the other.
We haven't, that one and we haven't budgeted for the other ones. We hadn't budgeted for it. Okay. Then the reason why I did that though is because I had the opposite in this fund as we did in general. I'd over budgeted for health insurance, so DA 9060.8. I had budgeted $258,409, and the actual expenditure is $232 and $232,100, sorry. So the change of the highway fund appropriations are $3,749,907. And that's down about $11,000 from what was in the preliminary budget. So the estimated our real property tax levy, oh, sorry. I can go over that in a second. Well, I guess we'll wait for Charlotte to get back. The tax levy with these changes would be $1,472,737.
Say 737?
Yeah,
That's the what, the levy?
but. Yeah. Yes. I'll go ahead and start what we did. We will zip this up for you tomorrow.
Oh, okay.
Perfect. It'll only take me 8 hours. Okay. Okay. So I'd like to make a motion to amend the 2025 preliminary budget for the highway fund in the following way. For revenue line 2709 to change from 29,000 to 32,450. For expenditure line DA 5010.440 to change from $2,000 to $8,000. from from line DA 5020.440 to change from $5,000 to $15,000. And from DA 9060.8 to change from $258,309 to $232,100. Do I have a second?
Second it.
Okay, any discussion? On favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstained, motion carries. Okay, I'm just gonna fill, I just need like a couple. Like a bit just to fill this in with the changes. We also, oh, let's make a motion. To amend the ambulance district budget. So I'll make a motion to amend the ambulance district budget. For the total 2025 appropriation amount to be $241,920.
So. I know what we're doing. That's not gonna require us to collect.
Correct. Yeah, it's on your thing. There's gonna be a fund balance.
Right, so we're, okay, so fund balance is included.
The fund balance on that one is gonna be $47,250. We can. I was gonna make that as a separate motion, but. All in favor? Aye. Opposed, abstain, motion carries. So I was gonna make that motion for the final budget, but.
Okay.
I could change.
Oh,
Okay. These numbers just aren't adding up. I just want to make sure everything's. Okay. This. And then we're still using $300,000 of fund balance in this budget. Great, so from the sheets that I handed out, the change, all those numbers are gonna change like ever so slightly. So, I'll recirculate a copy of the final budget, and of course, it gets submitted and everything, so. Okay. And those okay, great. So I guess I'll read this. So I'll make a motion that the town of Rochester Town Board adopts the 2025 final budget in the amounts as proposed after the amendments made on November 19th, 2024.
Second. You can read them all.
I was going to, do you not want me to?
You can read them all.
I was going to,
Just read
but.
them. Yeah, read it.
Okay, so general fund, $3,336,741. For appropriations, revenue is $2,216,862. From fund balance, $300,000 for a tax levy of $819,879. Highway fund appropriations, $3,749,907 with a revenue of $2,277,170. Zero from fund balance for a tax levy of $1,472,737. Special districts ambulance. The Rochester Ambulance District for appropriations of $241,920. Zero expected revenue. And utilizing $47,250 from fund balance for a tax levy of $194,670. For the High Falls Ambulance District, $25,000 for appropriations, zero revenue, zero fund balance for a tax levy of $25,000. The lighting districts, $6,480. Zero revenue. $2,200 from fund balance. Sorry, I forgot to put this out. For a tax levy, total tax levy of $4,280. Those split out more specifically, but that's the total. One second, yeah.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed, abstain, motion carries, budget is passed. And
Congratulations.
motion.
Motion adjourned.
Second.
All right, that's it, everybody. Good night.